Hey everyone, welcome to another live show. We're doing a whole bunch this week, it looks like. Today we'll be joined with some folks from Alec Bradley. So, Wayne, who do we have with us today?
Well, welcome, guys, and thanks everybody for joining us today. We'll go in alphabetical order. We have Alec Rubin. Say hello, Alec. We have Bradley Rubin, and owners of the company, and then we also have Kris Harper, who is our rep that takes care of us here at the shop with the Alec Bradley line. So appreciate you guys coming on and joining us today. Maybe one of you guys would tell us a little bit about your company and tell us a little about how Alec and Rubin became the name of the company too. I'm curious.
Bradley, go ahead, jump on in.
Yeah, I'll take that. So Alec Bradley was started in 1996, just a year after I was born. Alec is 3 years older than I am, and my father used to work with our grandfather in the screws and bolts and fastener business. And eventually, when my father took over his company and decided that it wasn't what he wanted to do, people were asking him, what business do you want to get in? What are you passionate about? And one of his employees said, well, you always come into work smoking a cigar. You should get into cigars. So, that was the next part of his life was starting this company, and he wanted to name it after us, which, Alec and I are very, honored and proud that we got to be a part of this for our entire lives without even working in business. And then it was just full force from there. He came out with Max, which was still a popular cigar for us. That was a big cigar that got us noticed. I know you guys carry Tempest. Tempest is the first cigar that Alec Bradley ever got rated, and it really put us on the map. And then it was Prensado, and Prensado got #1 cigar of the year of 2011 for us, which, as a young company, propelled us to a whole new level. And now we're just trying to put out great products like Magic Toast, and Alec and I are working on some of our own blends like Blind Faith and Gatekeeper, which we're very lucky both of you guys carry both of our first two releases. So it's we're coming up on our 25th anniversary, and we're proud to still be here for so long. So it's definitely an awesome journey to be a part of.
That's awesome. I do remember. I guess I've been in business about 3 years, and I remember back in the day carrying your brand, and it seems the thing that really stuck in my head that made me remember Alec Bradley was when the Prensado got the cigar of the year. So you're saying that it was 2011.
2011.
Yeah, that seemed to be a catalyst for us that really kind of pushed the brand even a little bit further. So those cigar aficionados definitely are a good thing. So,
yeah, they're no joke, that's for sure.
We have a pretty good representation here on cigars. Like I said, we got the Gatekeeper, which I believe is your newest one. Maybe one of you guys can tell us a little bit about that cigar, the makeup, the blend, and where the name came from.
Yeah, so I'll take that one since you took the last one, Brad. Gatekeeper was a really cool project. Actually, Bradley came to me with the idea for Gatekeeper. He wanted to do something in the Dominican Republic because Alec Bradley, as a company, does not really do much in the Dominican Republic. I think the only product that we have is Occidental Reserve, which is a bundle product. And so we want to play with some different tobaccos that Alec Bradley doesn't generally play with. So we went to Ernesto Perez Carrillo, who was ecstatic to, when we brought the idea to him. And we had a few conversations with him about it and ended up having a meeting with him down at his office. We thought it was going to be like an hour-long meeting, ended up being like a 6 or 7 hour meeting. Just kind of dove right, headfirst into that project. And I'll let Brad talk about the artwork a little bit and the meaning behind it, because that was really more his idea.
Yeah. So the artwork has Medusa's head, and it's being held by. I'll show you. I know you have them top right, but being held by this hand. And so, like Alex said, we got to work with Ernesto, and they wanted to pay an homage to Ernesto for how long he's been doing this, his legendary status within the industry. And so getting to work with someone who has more experience than Alec and I, our lives combined. We're like, how do we pay homage to such a master of tobacco? And so we said that Ernesto is the gatekeeper, that once we release a cigar and people get to try it, it'll lead us on a new path, and Ernesto will open the gates for us. So it's really in honor of him and him allowing us to work with him on such a cool project. So, a lot of respect and appreciation for what he does.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's I was talking. I think we just got the cigar in here a little while ago, and always something new to smoke. So I figured if you guys are coming on, I'd smoke one in your honor. So we're doing our first taste testing right here. So,
Awesome.
So far, so good. We're really enjoying it. So, Kris, tell us how you got into the cigar business.
So I started my journey in the alcohol sales. I started my journey in sales in general with bourbon. And then I moved on into beer and kind of focusing on the logistics and marketing of beer products in general. And I found myself kind of spinning my wheels. I had a lot of success in the industry, but I wanted to do something that I maybe had a touch more of a passion for. And I found that in cigars. So I reached out to my boss, our vice president of sales, Mike Sirota, and I kind of pitched myself. I didn't have any industry experience necessarily, but one thing I do have is a very good palate. And another thing that I have is a knack for talking to people. So I figured what better industry to hop into with cigars. You sit down with a cigar, you have a drink, and you get to know someone. And I think that's an awesome part of being a part of this industry. So it just kind of fell into place, and COVID-19 hit, and here we are. But I find myself in the small bit of time I have worked, with Alec Bradley, making good friends and making good connections, and learning more about tobacco and learning more about the flavor profiles of cigars. So it's definitely a step that I wanted to take for a while. My grandfather worked in tobacco all his life for R.J. Reynolds. And it's just something I kind of have a passion for. If it's bourbon, if it's coffee, if it's cigars, I get to do what I love. So it was an obvious step, and I'm glad I took it.
It's kind of like our motto, our slogan here at Anstead's. Smoke, be social. Come in, put your phone down, and talk to your friend, and relax, and have a good cigar and a great drink, and it takes the stress away. It keeps people,
That's the best thing to me about going to a brick and mortar store, is getting to walk in, just kind of unwind and get to meet new people.
Well, that's been a challenge for us this last 2 months with
I'm sure.
The COVID mess going on, pretty much having the lounge closed down. 37 years in the mall, I felt like we were back in the mall. People were coming in, buying their cigars, and they're leaving. Where typically, one of my favorite things to do is about 7 o'clock, by the time I'm ready to get off work in the evening, I like to cruise out into the lounge and just sit down and chat with some of our different customers. It's always fun to meet somebody that's here for the first time, either visiting a soldier on Fort Bragg or just happen to hear about us and stopped in. So it's a great social event. You meet all kinds of people in here. So definitely, I think you made a good choice getting into the cigar business. So I'll agree with you there.
Yeah, I will say, I got to walk in with you guys right before we got pulled from the road. It was the place I kind of didn't want to leave, as Tom might be able to tell you. I really enjoyed myself. Sat down, I learned a lot. I got to try some little tobacco products. So I love you guys.
Yeah, we had to actually escort him out of the building. He wasn't going to leave.
I believe that.
So how do you guys, we're running house production with you guys. I know they've had some of the ports closed, and we're starting to see kind of across the board on some of our brands. Some holes starting to develop where the cigars aren't available. How are you guys holding up under all this mess and getting cigars out?
So we've been pretty lucky, honestly, because I think the day that Honduras shut down is the day we received 2 giant containers, which was a huge benefit for us and made things a lot smoother over the last 2 months, honestly. And now with Nicaragua and Honduras being open, we're able to, production started again. We're going to have new containers soon. And we were out of some cigars definitely for a little while, specifically Project 40 was out for a little while, but now we have it back in stock. It's already, I think, out the door, and we're waiting on a second shipment. But we were pretty fortunate with just our timing. Yeah, it was honestly pure luck.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, because I get always nervous because when you go back to the cigar room in the 90s, we have no cigars on the shelf. And so I was kind of paying close attention when they started reopening the ports, actually started working a little bit more. And cigars are definitely coming in. There's no fear of being out of anything. But yeah, we do have some discussion, Tom.
Yeah, a little bit. Might just be traffic with the network. I know we had problems with the internet last night during the storm. So,
well, there's a storm is brewing like crazy here now. So,
yeah.
People that are in the store aren't going to want to leave.
How'd you go pull up with the storm?
Well, the storm was pretty heavy here. Tremendous downpour for quite a bit of the night, and then it seemed like it stopped right before we came to work today. So,
yeah, it's kind of nice.
Wow.
So, what plans do you guys have for Alec Bradley Cigars in the future? What are you guys thinking of? What do you got up your sleeve? Maybe let everybody know.
So Alec and I announced a few months ago that we are going to be releasing a line called Kintsugi. So it'll be under our brands, just like Gatekeeper and Blind Faith. So Kintsugi is a Japanese art form of piecing back broken pottery with gold lacquer. So the meaning behind it is that there's beauty in the imperfections. That life happens to you, but you're never broken, sort of idea. And it was a name that we came up with a long time ago, and we loved the concept. And weirdly enough, we saw that the industry itself was very broken, very divided, and where people stand on some issues with the FDA, and you have PCA, so you have all these different things within our industry that's dividing us. And so we thought that was a nice metaphor to our product, Kintsugi. And so we're trying to figure out what's the gold lacquer, what brings us closer together. And naturally, it's this, it's the cigar and tobacco that we all love. But I think with COVID-19 happening and all of us starting to get on these virtual perfs and interviews and doing these videos, that is what's been bringing us closer together. Everyone being able to connect, in a matter of seconds instead of, flying out to wherever and having limited time to see people. Now we have a lot more free time, and we're all talking and we're all hanging out and smoking cigars and enjoying each other's time. So I thought, Alec and I thought that it kind of segued really nicely with how the industry has been going and what's going on in our lives. So we are trying to release it this month. That's what the plan was. But then the fact, like Wayne said, production got slowed down. We got hit with that. And, I decided to make my own packaging changes when we were kind of getting close to being done, because I always, want it to be the best it can possibly be. So we don't have an exact day or date when it will be shipping, but we hope to get it done in the next few months and have a new cigar that's a little bit outside of our normal portfolio. Something mild to medium, with this really just beautiful, sweet taste to it. So I smoked a blend earlier this morning, and it's looking great. So me and Alec are very excited to have this come to market soon.
Awesome. Yeah, you got my mouth watering for it already.
That's always good to hear.
Yeah, Bradley, you sound like the artsy guy. You got the guy who come up with the ideas. Is that you?
Yeah, I'm usually coming up with the ideas. Alec will go along with it until he thinks I'm crazy, or he'll shoot him down. But I'm very when I get hung up on something, that's what I want. And then after we do everything, and then I realize that I don't like it, then I need to pivot and explain to Alec how I screwed everything up. So that's usually how it goes.
So we have 3 cigars out. This has already happened twice, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
We're about to launch our 3rd cigar, and so far it's happened twice. Yeah. So the reason that Bradley really has taken over the art side, or the creative side of Alec and Bradley, is because when we were trying to do everything together, we were at each other's throats about 24/7, and it just wasn't really working out that way. So we kind of had to divide and conquer a little bit toward where more of our passions lied, even though we're both passionate about everything when it comes to creating the cigar. And he is more concept and the creativity of it, and I focus more on the blend for that vision.
Well, that sounds pretty good. Sounds like a good team effort there.
Well,
Yeah.
we just wanted to both be alive within the next 2 years, so that was the only way that was going to work.
Yeah, a lot of the back and forth, I think, helps us create a better product in the end. Because whether or not, Alec focuses more on the cigar, I focus more on the concept. We both still have to agree on the cigar and the concept and packaging and marketing of everything. So, yeah, we have these separate roles in which we work to, create one thing, but we still have to agree on things. So
that's where it gets a little interesting.
A little interesting.
Yeah, the beginning's a little bit easier than the end.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that when we built the store, we've been in this location for 7 years, and after being in the mall for 37 years, we had 3 Type A personalities building the place. So it was my wife, my son, and myself. So it was always I remember one time, say, okay, I couldn't get them to grasp the layout of the store I had had a vision of, so I sent them off to lunch and just took cardboard boxes and pieces of plywood and set up what would be the counter and what would be the humidor, and here's where you'd walk in. And
I love that. That's awesome.
And I said, when you guys come back from lunch, call me. I'm going to greet you at the door, and I'm going to walk you through the store how we're going to do it. So
that's hilarious.
It is fun to work with teams, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. Tom, does any of our viewers have any questions for us out there?
Well, no questions yet. We've got one viewer, Damon. He's here watching, but he doesn't have a cigar. I think that's the saddest thing I've heard all week.
Yes.
So he may qualify as a winner today. We don't know. But we've got to definitely give out the trivia question for these guys. Perhaps Alec, you can come up with a good one to give our viewers, so when they come back and rewatch it, the winners might get something nice if we draw their ticket.
You want to go trivia question right now?
Right now, why not?
What month of 2020 did Bradley go with the solo stash?
What month? Man.
So is the stash all brand new?
It's pretty brand new.
It's fairly new. I had a beard for probably 4 or 5 years, and my girlfriend had always told me that she likes or loves a solo mustache. So in February.
Oh, you just ruined the trivia question.
Well, hopefully people will be back and watch, and they'll have to find it and remember.
I'll throw out a different. I'm sorry.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that.
You should have stopped me.
I was going to. You did it too quickly.
I could throw out.
Create a new trivia question, Brad. Get a new one.
Definitely the Magnum PI look. Definitely the Magnum PI look.
I could. Yes, I get that. I get that a lot. I get Tom Selleck a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So mine is more sports related. If I can do a sports related one, I don't know if it. Okay. So this is my favorite sports trivia question. What 4 football teams are not named after a city or a state?
I know that answer.
I know, because I ask it all the time.
Interesting.
Well, it's not the Akron Zips, because we know they're the best team in the world, and it's got the name Akron in it. So, go Zips.
So I'll repeat. What 4 NFL teams are not named after a city or a state?
Okay, that's a good one. I like
That's
it.
a good one.
That is a good one.
So
Gives
some of
people
the
some
trivia
time to research.
that we're going to be giving out is this awesome Firkin humidor. Well, let me put it around here. Yep, there we go. So this is going to be filled with Alec Bradley Delights that we are going to gift to Anstead's, and Anstead's is going to give this away. We are also going to be giving second place this very beautiful Alec Bradley lighter. What's cool about this is it has a punch in the top, so it's kind of a one-stop shop there.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. Some of the specials we have going on right now, we're going to be doing with Anstead's. You buy 5 Alec Bradley cigars, you're going to get a gatekeeper free. And if you buy 10 Alec Bradley cigars, you're going to get a gatekeeper and this awesome fire starter lighter. So those are some pretty good swag bags. So I'm excited to see kind of what the answers are.
Now, is that lighter the twin torch or is it a single torch?
It's a double
I believe
torch.
this one is a twin. It's twin torch. No fluid,
Twin
but
torch.
Yep.
That's good. So all you got to do is do some homework and answer those trivia questions. What about the glorious single stash and the NFL sports question? That's really good. And I've got a trivia question for you guys, Bradley, Alec.
Yep.
In what year did Anstead's tobacco start?
Okay.
Okay, so
How well do you know your customers?
let's see. I'm gonna go with 1978. Am I close?
Ooh. I think it's close, but
I know I'm close. I know I'm close.
Can I guess? Is my
yeah,
turn now?
absolutely.
1983.
No, I think it's lower than that. I think it's before 1978.
Any guesses, Kris?
I'm gonna go with 81 because I think it was a good year. For doing the math, it would have to be 1979, right?
Well, you guys are beating all around the board, but it's kind of interesting because it's kind of hard to formulate. I actually got into the cigar business in 1974. I used to run a tinderbox in St. Louis. We took over the store here in Fayetteville, North Carolina in 1979.
Oh, come on.
I know.
I had it.
And then in 1990, we went independent of the tinderbox. So it's kind of a tough question, but in 1990, we went independent. That's where we came up with the Anstead's name. And a little trivia behind that, as we struggled, because in the late 80s, before the cigar boom, people really weren't smoking a lot of cigars or pipes. So it was an interesting business to be in. Being a mall merchant, we carried all the knickknacks and trivia and stuff like that and figurines and that everybody wanted to buy just to pay the rent. So we didn't want to have a name that said smoke shop or cigar shop or anything of that nature. But we didn't want to have a name like a gift shop either because we were definitely a full line tobacco shop as well. So I had a great uncle that was had a Anstead's Market back in Michigan back in the 50s. So I just figured, well, why don't we just keep the name? So my last name, and we just went with Anstead's Tobacco Company and basically shortened it in the beginning to just Anstead's to try to keep the tobacco. Whenever we went to a gift show, if we had tobacco on our name tag, all they wanted to show us was ashtrays. So we were looking for other things, but it's interesting. You guys said you got into the business, your family, in about 1996, which was like right in the boom. So it's impressive. Being in this business and seeing how many people came and how many people went during that time frame, that speaks highly to you guys to keep yourself up there and actually becoming you're not a boutique brand anymore. You're a major brand anymore.
So, question for you: how many companies do you think were started during the boom? Ooh. And how many are left? How many would you say are left that haven't sold or disappeared?
Who haven't sold or disappeared? Ooh, I don't think I know that answer at all.
Yeah, it's got to be a crazy weird number.
Well, they were either they didn't make it or they were absorbed by a bigger company, and
Well, I mean, there was so many. I mean, literally. But I remember during the cigar boom, our humidor was literally empty. We couldn't get any cigars. I mean, we could get a lot of money if we could find something to sell. I guess the manufacturers had run out of tobacco that was aged, so they couldn't produce any more product. Competition was growing like crazy because everyone and their brother was opening up a new shop. Yeah. But there were so many little teeny obscure brands that just popped in and popped out. I would say the number has to be close to 50 to 100 in that range.
Wow.
It was a lot. And some of them didn't last at all. But it was interesting because Jono was CAO, was one of the few that, of course, became a major brand. And then, of course, eventually sold out to General Cigar. He used to be a American pipe guy. That's what he was known for. And but there would be some of our cigar manufacturers or pipe tobacco guys that decided they wanted to get into cigars. I apologize. They want to get into cigars, and then literally within a year, they realized it wasn't as easy as they thought it was. So it takes a lot to get out there. I know from your all's side to get a cigar growing and traction, so people will continue to buy it. So
Not easy.
You've done a good job. Packaging's good. Product is good.
Yeah.
Consistency's good. All that.
I don't think that Bradley and I can take credit for the majority of that, but
Any of
yeah.
it. Our father definitely worked his tail off for forever, for his entire career, and definitely had his ups and downs. His first cigar was called Bogey Stogies, the best bogey you'll have on the golf course. And Alec, you always have to help me with the flavored cigar.
Oh yeah, gourmet dessert cigars, all the flavor, none of the fat.
Yeah. So to say that those weren't hits.
He really liked taglines back then.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
And now Gregor gets it from his dad.
Exactly. So he definitely hit some strides along the way. Sorry, Tom, what were you saying?
No, I was just saying we did have a question from a customer or viewer from Ryan. He's asking if Kris had said Alec Bradley delights. Like that, you had to explain a little further, Kris.
Kris, we can't hear you at all.
They delight.
Well, we can't hear you, Kris.
How about now?
Yeah, we're good.
Great.
Cool. So Alec Bradley Delights, what I mean by that is I've got a wonderful bin of goodies that ranges from cigars to T-shirts to different types of ashtrays, and we're going to stuff it with whatever I feel like stuffing it with and give it away to the customers. But it will be a surprise, but I promise it will be a delightful surprise. And on that note,
I was a little confused for a moment myself. I thought maybe it was a breakfast cereal you were going to include, but it's good. It's going to be a nice gift.
Yeah, it'll be great. So one quick trivia question I had, and it kind of blends the lines of my old business, is what was the original intention of a firkin?
Who are you asking that to?
The crowd.
The original intention of what?
The original intention of a firkin. What was a firkin used for?
Okay.
I have no freaking idea.
I have every firkin idea.
You'll have to email me that answer so we can fact check it, please.
Oh, yeah. Hint, it originated in the Flanders region of Belgium.
Ah, okay. Starting to get an idea now.
I'm lost.
Oh, I got this. Yeah.
I think it was butter. That's my guess. I think I saw a butter churn that looked like that one time.
I think it's maybe more enjoyable than butter. I'm not sure.
That's hard to believe. But you definitely have to email me that answer. We've got yep, it's pretty cool. We've got some.
So, guys, I got a question for you real quick. Now that we see the PCA has been canceled.
Yeah.
So, for us, we happened to hit the TPE for the first time ever this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I will have to say it wasn't the same experience to go into the PCA. So hopefully, were you guys at the TPE by any chance?
Yeah. So we were there as a company. Alec and I didn't attend, but that was our first year being a part of TPE.
Okay. It was a little confusing trying to find folks. I know the poor folks in Christoph. I wasn't ready to buy any cigars, but I was going to go by and at least say hello. And for the love of God, I could never find them. I looked. I really did try. Oh, really? But just kind of the layout was just kind of unique. But so what are your all's plans to market and reach out with no PCA this year? You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brad.
It's really about our sales team having daily talks with all of our partners and retailers. So it's just about keeping the relationship and making sure that that everyone knows that we're there. And obviously the show is to sell, but continue those relationships. But with everything going on, we know that not everyone is in the same spot or the right spot. So, when we have, for example, when Alec and I are ready to have, Kintsugi ready, we'll figure out a plan to market that and get it out to all of our retailers at in a timely manner and see where everyone's states are in terms of how open they are. If they're able to do, who knows if we'll be able to do events even in the near future. So, we have a lot of different ideas on how to reach out and market our different brands that we'll be releasing. But, we want to get a better consensus of how the whole country is doing so we can make sure that, if or when we release Kintsugi, that it's the best opportunity, not just for us, but for everyone else as well.
Well, and it's kind of interesting because we have kind of a new concept that's COVID-19 pushed on us, where before, we'd allow customers into the humidor and they'd meander around and look. Now we pretty much have to stop customers as they come in. One of our staff will take them into the humidor. They'll point to whatever cigar they want, and then we grab it. So we don't have a lot of people touching. I mean, we call it the red carpet treatment. So we open the door for them, we close the door for them. They point, we pick. But it's really given us a great opportunity to be one-on-one with every single solitary customer. And
absolutely,
that's
probably different than before.
Your staff being in the humidor, which is something we push here a lot, but it kind of force feeds it on them. So it's great because almost every single customer wants to know something about something different. So it's a silver lining in a cloud. This has been a great opportunity to really reach out. So like I said, the more we know about a cigar, I tell people this all the time. When a new cigar comes in, if there's a story behind it, something you can talk about it, because it really, really helps sell it. And that to me, getting that to our employees is the way to help them. Because then when a customer asks a question, I mean, we honestly don't carry any bad cigars, so they're all good. But it's nice to have a story that you can kind of narrow them down and talk to about it. And then they get excited and want to take it home and smoke it as well.
Wayne, do you think that you guys are going to be changing any practices within your store when it comes to customer service because of this? Like moving forward?
I'm sorry.
I know you already help, customers in the humidor, but is there anything that's going to be any different about it moving forward?
And the crazy thing, 42 years in business, this is a whole new situation. You pull out a bag of tricks of something that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. This is all new. And sometimes I go home and tell my wife I'm just wore out. And I'm just mentally worn out trying to figure out how we're going to navigate our way through this month, next month, and so on. So
absolutely.
Our business in this new location has been just off the chart. We built a huge lounge. Customers love it. Great bar. One of the best Scotch and bourbon selections in town.
That's why I can't wait to come out.
Yeah. It was funny because the ALE, which is our alcohol law enforcement division, came to visit us this morning. I think to make sure we weren't open, or we knew we weren't going to be able to open. But they didn't spend a whole lot of time inspecting because they were so impressed with our selection. So now they can't wait to come back and hang out. So, to answer your question, well, I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah. But I do know the fact that each employee is in that humidor with every customer, and that's huge.
Absolutely.
As far as selling. So our business really hasn't been off too terribly bad. Of course, the bar is a big fat zip. But as far as the retail end, last month we struggled a little bit, had a tough time making our numbers. But this month so far, we're showing a little increase. So people are buying cigars. Yeah. And having these have done really well for us, because it's surprising how many people maybe view it later on, and then come in and ask about the cigar. So we found this to be real successful. It's probably something we won't quit doing.
That's great to hear. That's something that when we go on these, that I love to talk about is to adapt during a difficult time. And to be honest, you guys are the only people I've seen that have an intro video, and it is awesome. And the music is even better. So it's great to see that you guys work hard to figure out what else can I do during these times to be successful, and it shows that it's worked out very well for you guys. So great job.
Well,
We've got a great question from one of our loyal viewers, Kyle Mueller. When making the Prensado Lost Art, was it solely a marketing thing, linking it to the original Prensado, since it was such a highly regarded cigar, or are they really that similar? He says he noticed a huge difference between the two in taste.
Yeah, so I'll take that one. No, they were not supposed to be similar whatsoever. What links the two cigars is, I would say, about three things. One, because with Prensado, it was all about the construction and how we kind of put that cigar together. So when you look at the triple cap, when you look at the semi-box press, and you look how it's rolled, or the bunching style, which is entubado, which is the old Cuban style, those were the three things that took us to name it Lost Art, because those are all very much Cuban aspects. So it's kind of the lost art of rolling cigars a little bit is what's behind it. And we actually created a completely different blend for that project. And we took the similar things from Prensado, being the semi-box, the entubado, the triple cap. And that's what led us to branch off of Prensado to make Prensado Lost Art. A lot of people, when they go to buy the Lost Art, are expecting it to taste like Prensado. But why would we make a cigar that tastes exactly like the other cigar? The purpose was to do something different, something interesting. It's supposed to be a little more refined in terms of its flavors. And that's kind of what we were going through with that cigar.
Makes sense.
With the rolling style, that Antubo rolling style that gives a little more air burning evenly throughout, I think that helps really bring out more of the nuances on the palate than
I agree.
Typical bunching.
Yeah, and a lot of our cigars are rolled with entubado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, but back for the question, I have to give our credit to Tom. He's our production guy. It's in his blood to do this kind of stuff. So coming up with the different graphics and artwork, and he has fun with it. So it makes it a little more interesting than just some of the Zooms we're on where there's 20 people and you can't hear anybody, see anybody, or it just
this has been fantastic. Absolutely.
It was something that I want to do with the roll in and roll out videos, because you go live and for the first 4 minutes you see this. Is anybody watching?
Yeah.
Anybody? Okay. All right, we're live. And it's like, nah, I'd rather roll in like old live TV back in the day.
Love it.
This platform is inexpensive and it works well. We can, showcase some of the things we're talking about. Like we talked about today, that gatekeeper. The artwork is fantastic. The cigar looks good. The band is gorgeous. So people have been buying them up. So it's a great cigar. Obviously, it's a hit. And it allows us to, put some things on there and let people know that we're branding it. We're talking about cigars, not just, hey, what are you doing? What are you smoking? Okay, next. And then 50 people are online at the same time. There's a place for that, but we want to talk about cigars and get people interested in your product and coming back here and buying a few and trying to enjoy some time while we're going through this together.
So we got to work our way, get you guys up here when things open back up. Were you guys in Miami?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale? Okay, you're not too far away.
Yeah, so
not bad at all.
We would love to come after after all this is over.
Yeah, I missed my trip with Kris because of COVID. I was supposed to be at. When was I supposed to be with you, Kris?
I believe 2 weeks after I started, which would have been March.
Yeah,
it would have been mid-March. Yeah, and it's kind of crazy to think about how everything's changed. Via being brick and mortar, being putting logistics out there and selling, and even buying, everything's changed. But one thing I have noticed in this industry specifically is there's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of looking for. There's not a lot of commiserating. And in some of the groups I'm involved with, it's in other industries, it's not necessarily like that. There's definitely, everyone's getting hit hard. But I think the ability of the cigar industry to kind of overcome and find new ways to do things is really awesome. And it's accredited to the people that are in the industry. And I'm glad to be part of it.
Well, I think one thing about cigar smokers is that they're hungry for knowledge. They want to know, they want to hear, they want to see. So having events, which we have an event probably every month, a fairly good size event, and then smaller events throughout. And it's been tough for us to have to completely wash our calendar away of all the events that were planned this year. A lot of folks were coming to visit us, things we were going to do, but it's been different, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, trust me. Bradley and I have a physical calendar on our wall of all of our travels, and to have to go and just take something and just completely erase it, that definitely hurt.
Yeah,
That
we
definitely
had
hurt.
one event still on the calendar, and everything had been canceled through via phone call, conversation, email, whatever. And there was one lingering event we had out there, and it was actually tied to our pipe business that we do. I think we had Eric Stokely or Max Stokely coming in to do a pipe tobacco blending event. So I realized we were about 2 weeks out, and I thought, well, let me get on the phone, reach out to Carol Lee from General, and ask her what were her plans on that event, because we're assuming it's not going to happen. And she called me back in 10 minutes and said, "You're right, it's not happening." So got to put a big X on that one too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we do have an event coming up, our first event coming up, Wayne, about our sporting clay.
So luckily, it's going to work out well for us. It's the first event ever in my life I've planned to be not the biggest event in the world, because you want to control the crowd. Yeah. So we actually have 50 people who are going to be on a sporting clay event. So it's an outdoor event. Groups are going to be less than 10. They're going to be 4 because they're going to be doing sporting clay shooting stations. So that kind of works out well. We're going to have a barbecue back here at the shop afterwards. We're going to give out trophies for the best shot. We have 15 of our vendors that are going to be here. So it's our first ever multi-vendor event. We've never done a multi-vendor event. This is a great opportunity. So Tom and I have been pulling our hair out trying to figure out how we can situate. Luckily, we have a 5,000 square foot store, so we can separate all the manufacturer reps. They're behind a table. We're staying within all that 6 foot stuff, and it's going to be a little challenging, but I think we'll do the best we can. So
I wish I could be there for that one. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
That's great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be cool for. I know sometimes the big multi-vendor events are, thousands of people show up, and you really never get to talk to anybody. So this is one where
a little more intimate.
Well, yes, we'll be able to stage folks to work through, meet with the different vendors, talk about the different cigars, and so we got the gatekeeper, which is new. So Kris can be promoting that. Other manufacturers who cigars that have rolled out new, we're kind of pushing them off to the side so that they come out just first time seen is at our event. So we're looking forward to it. And I think we were planning, knowing that the 6 foot was going to stay in place. I knew it wasn't going to go away that quick. So I think it's going to work out.
That's great. And when is the event?
It's June the 4th.
June 4th.
It's actually a Thursday, which our shooting event is actually sold out. So we've sold all the tickets. That we sold out last week. So, but after the event's over and the lunch is over, then we're gonna have the reps. We'll have tables and everything all set up for our reps, so that we can open it up to all of our customers that want to come on out and check it out.
That's great.
That's awesome.
It's going to be great for the customers and the participants. They'll actually have a chance to win, since I won't be able to shoot. I'll be taking pictures and supporting social media for the event. So I'm giving them a break. I'll let everybody win this time.
There you go, Tom.
I'm excited to get my shoot on. I think sporting clay is such a wonderful way to kind of hop back in and just socialize. It's such a wonderful sport. And when I saw you guys send that email out, I was elated. That was super cool.
Yeah, it's something my son and I like to do. And probably about a month ago or 3 weeks ago, or right before we decided to put this thing into action, we're out there shooting, and I thought, man, this would be cool to get our customers out here and do this. And so we came back to the store and we sent an email out to all of our reps and said, first off, if you're interested and if your company will let you, I explained our social distancing and how it can meet all the requirements. So it was cool. Only one rep can't make it, but he has another event scheduled in Virginia. So we have pretty much all of our major reps like you guys into that day. So it's going to be interesting.
That's awesome. I'm glad things are starting to get rolling again. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're going to try. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Wayne, any more questions for our special guest today?
I don't have anything else, Tom.
Any parting knowledge from Bradley, Alec? Anything you want to?
Yeah, I just want to say in these tough times, make sure you support your local brick and mortars.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Wayne and Tom, for having us and working hard to put stuff like this together for your customers and for us. So it's great to support one another during these difficult times. So, thank you guys for all that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
And thank you guys for taking time out of your day to hang out with our customers.
Anytime. You got our number.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Chris, look forward to seeing you 1st of June.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Cheers, y'all.